Today we are going to start by talking all about Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is a very famous actor known for Thor. I'm sure you all have heard of him before. He was in the news a while back, so it was all over the internet, talking about some sort of illness that Chris had been told he had. This illness turned out to be a genetic predisposition, I would suggest is how we would describe it. So it was found out that he had 2 of the APOE4 genes. I'm not going to go into the science of that. I'm not a scientist, but what I do know is that means that he is 8 to 10 times more likely to get Alzheimer's disease when he is older. So just reflecting on that a little bit, it's a pretty scary thing to find out that might happen to you. Now, having this predisposition is something that all of us will not know if we haven't had a test. So it's something we might want to look into doing in the future to understand how our genetics are going to impact our future. However, there has been a lot of science around the APOE4 gene and tests that have been undertaken to show that when we are looking at dementia, when we're looking at Alzheimer's, that exercise is something that is going to massively reduce the impact of getting dementia and Alzheimer's later in life. So today we're going to touch on the importance of exercise, not only on our cognitive function, but also on the function of our bodies and what we could start doing now to make that difference in the future and increase not only the length of our life, but our health span. And our health span being that when we are older, that we have a high quality of life. So we're not just living to 100, but we're living to 100 with a high quality of life, being able to do the things that we want to do at that age. For example, being able to walk up a hill, being able to pick ourselves off the floor, pick our grandkids off the floor, those sorts of things. That is what we are going to be delving into in today's podcast. Moving on from there, we're going to start with some scary facts. I think that that's a good place to start so we can really put into perspective what we're talking about here and just how important, I'm going to call it a drug that exercise is for us, for our body, for our health in the future. So a few tests that have been undertaken when looking at all-cause mortality. All-cause mortality essentially meaning that your risk of dying in the next 12 months of anything. So that could be cancer, it could be a heart-related disease, anything else that we could die of. So all-cause mortality, everything. So I'm going to start with something that I feel we can all relate to. And then from there, I'm going to bring it into exercise. So we're looking at a smoker versus a non-smoker here. And a smoker is 40% more likely to die in the next 12 months of all-cause mortality than a non-smoker. So 40% more likely, quite a lot, and can put into perspective quite easily how we can understand that. We're now going to look at that on a scale of, I guess, cardiovascular health. So I'm actually going to talk about it in the realm of VO2 max. VO2 max in its simplest terms is how much you can use oxygen when you are exercising. So the fitter you are, the more oxygen you can take on board when you're exercising, then the more you're going to get. So athletes generally are going to have a higher VO2 max than your average runner who goes for a 5K a couple of times a week because of the work that they put into it. But the impact of our VO2 max on our long-term health and on our risk of all-cause mortality is absolutely crazy. So I'm using this to set the scene before we go into a few more information about exercise and its impact on you. Okay, so when we're looking at our VO2 max. So this is how much oxygen you can use when you're exercising. We want that number to be higher. If we are looking at the bottom 25% of people versus the top 25% of people, those in the bottom 25% are 400% more likely to die of all-cause mortality in the next 12 months. 400 times more likely. So that is a lot. 4 times more likely to die in the next 12 months of a cardiovascular disease, of something related to dementia, cancer. Just let that sink in for a second. It's quite crazy, right? If we reduce the gap, so we look at the bottom 25% to the next 25%, so that's people who are completely sedentary, doing nothing, to below average, so nothing and below average, we're comparing them, then just being in the below average, you reduce your risk by 50%. So that bottom 25% is 2 times more likely to be impacted by all-cause mortality in the next 12 months. So a massive increase if you're just going to go from being sedentary to doing some sort of exercise, essentially something that's going to increase your VO2 max just a little bit so that you can improve your health span and the longevity of your life. So reflecting on the points that I just raised, we know from tests and studies that have been done that even a minimal amount of exercise can have a massive impact on our life. So going from being sedentary to just brisk walking, the impact that they've seen in studies is a decade. A decade. You can live a decade longer just from taking yourself from the sofa and going out for a brisk walk. That's crazy in itself. And it has been proven that if you go from 0 minutes to 90 minutes of exercise a week, this is a week, so 90 minutes a week, that is not very much, you can reduce your risk of all-cause mortality by 14%. 14%. So if you're looking at just starting your journey to exercise, that is a big percentage to just get yourself off the sofa and walk for 15, 20 minutes a day, if that. That's your 90 minutes exercise. It doesn't even need to be crazy exercise, just getting yourself moving off the sofa for 90 minutes. I mentioned exercise being a drug, and this is true in that exercise allows the body to produce its own drugs, I guess, if you want to call it that. So when you exercise, you produce something called, now apologies if I say this wrong, but cytokines. And these send signals around the body that help the body to improve your immune system. So that's going to reduce your impact of getting ill in the long term. And it also stimulates the growth of new muscles and stronger bones. So our body is able to deliver itself its own drugs that's going to help improve our immune system, build more muscle and stronger bones, which are all things that we are going to need to be able to live longer, all just from doing exercise. Amazing, I know. Endurance exercise itself as well generates a molecule that improves the function of our hippocampus. Hopefully, again, I said that one right. And this is the part of your brain that works on memory. So if we can release this molecule from doing exercise, then we can improve our memory. And that is going to help to reduce our risk in the long term of memory-related diseases, so Alzheimer's, dementia, etc. So exercise is not only important for heart health, it is important for brain health. And all of these things together reduce our impact later in life of any of these diseases coming for us, and not only potentially killing us before we want them to, but reducing the impact that it has on our capabilities during life, therefore increasing our health span, and we're able to move around for longer and enjoy a better quality of life. My promise to you was to give you something to do off the back of every one of these podcasts and or videos, if you're listening to it, watching it. And in my first one, I uploaded a workout plan for you in the link at the bottom below the video, which I'm going to relink today. That is a 4-week program that works on the specifics of most of the areas of exercise that we want to be working on to promote health span and longevity. So there are 4 main buckets. That's zone 2 heart rate training, which is training at a conversational pace. There is zone 5 training, which is training at your maximum, I'm going for a sprint pace. We've got stability training, and then we have weight training. The workouts that I've put together focus on weight training and zone 2 training, which are going to make up 80% of the time that you are exercising anyway. So if you are really interested in trying to make a difference, please do click the link below and download that workout plan. Give it a go. Let me know how you feel after those 4 weeks. Make notes on how you feel in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I would love to hear how it impacts you. However, if you are currently not doing any exercise, or you are, doing the bare minimum, then your task this week is as simple as getting out every day for a 15-minute brisk walk. That is all I want you to do. I want you to get off the sofa every day this week and go for a 15-minute brisk walk. That is going to be your starting point. This is every single day. The impact that that is going to have on you building consistency of exercise in the future, and therefore enabling you to pick up my plan in a couple of weeks' time and start training in those zone 2, zone 5 areas, and also starting to improve your muscle mass, is going to be massive. So that is your task. It is that simple. Your task is to, first of all, digest everything that we've spoken about today and really take on board the impact of some of those stats that I've given. And then using those as your fuel to get yourself outside for your 15-minute brisk walk every day this week. We have some more videos coming out later in the week, do not worry, and I'm going to be delving more into what is zone 2 training, what is zone 5 training, what should we be doing for strength training. They are all going to have their own videos because there's so much information in those that it would be too much to try and talk about today. I even feel like some of the things today I would have loved to expand on, but I just wanted to cover the most simple facts that I believe are going to have the biggest impact on you understanding why exercise is so important to our everyday life now and improving our health span for the future and the longevity of our life. If there is anything that I want you to take away from today's video, it is to truly understand the importance that exercise has on your lifespan and the longevity of your life. Not to worry too much about everything that's all over the internet that's talking about calories in, calories out, good food, bad food. We are going to be talking about nutrition, don't worry, but not today. I just want you to focus on that as your goal, your long-term goal, because then it's not always I'm working towards one thing and then I'm stopping. I'm working towards one thing and I'm stopping. You are working towards just having the best life that you can, the best quality life that you can, always. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast, or at least found it informative. I wanted to bring this out because I can't leave videos this long on Instagram. People would be very annoyed. But I want to share everything that I'm learning right now and everything that I think is going to help us all to become better versions of ourselves, healthier versions of ourselves, and improve not only our everyday life, but our health span and the length of our life. So please leave a comment below if you found it useful. Let me know if you found it really boring. And yeah, take on board those facts that we spoke about earlier and have an absolutely amazing week. I will be dropping a video too on Wednesday, where we'll be delving into different types of exercise that I discussed today. So we'll be looking at zone 2, and we might touch on zone 5 as well on Wednesday. But yeah, have an awesome Monday. It was great to be able to share this with you guys, and all my love, happiness, health, and yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon.